Okay, so this is the common carotid artery. You can see that this is dividing into internal carotid, which is posterior and lateral, and this is external carotid. Now, while dividing, here we can see there is a bulge. This is called as carotid sinus, where we have our baroreceptors and chemoreceptors inside the bulge. Now, as a rule, internal carotid does not give any branches. Now, can you look at this? This is the nerve. Which nerve? Hypoglossal nerve, which is going to the tongue. 12th cranial nerve, which is forming a loop on the carotid sheath. So we have removed the carotid sheath to expose the artery. So we have seen this cranial nerve, 12th cranial nerve, which is looping on the surface of the carotid arteries. Now let us keep it aside so that it doesn't obstruct us during our branches. Now when we are looking at it, this is our external carotid artery. Let us look at the branches. So when we are discussing branches of external carotid, here there is a small cut here, okay. Before the dissection is completed, we have lost this superior thyroid artery, but along with superior thyroid artery there should be superior laryngeal nerve, which is a branch of vagus. So we can see that this is a superior laryngeal nerve. So we may have lost superior thyroid artery along with it, and we cannot see that particular structure here, but you can see that along with this nerve we have superior thyroid artery going to the thyroid gland and supplying to the thyroid gland. Now medially we have another branch. This is ascending pharyngeal branch coming from the external carotid. Let us look at the second branch. So you can see that this is the second branch, that is a lingual artery. It is going deep to the mylohyoid and hyoglossus under the surface of the tongue and supplies to the tongue. So this is the lingual artery. Now let's come to the next branch, that is the facial artery. As we know, let us trace the facial artery in detail. Look at this. We can see that it forms double looped, one around the submandibular gland and the other around the base of the mandible. You can see that the entire artery has been traced here. So you can see that this is a facial artery making double S-shaped loop around the submandibular gland and the base of the mandible and enters into the face. So we can see a lot of cut structures of the facial artery on the face. We could not trace it completely. So this is the facial artery. Now next branch we have occipital artery. See this structure? This is the occipital artery, which is going to the occipital, suboccipital triangle and to the scalp. Then we have posterior auricular branch. We can see very clearly how it is arising, and it goes posterior aspect, again supplying to the posterior aspect of the skull behind the ear. Now let us look at the continuation of external carotid. This is external carotid. It enters into the parotid gland. Within the parotid gland, so to look at this external carotid termination, we have to piecemeal the parotid gland. So how we have dissected this? We can see that external acoustic meatus is open. The ear has been removed. Then parotid gland, we made a piecemeal structure of parotid and tried to open that. And we can see that all portions which are related to the parotid has been cleaned out. So we can see the trunk of the facial nerve. So this is the facial nerve. It is giving into branches. We can see some of the branches here. Although not every branch can be visible at this point. So we can see the branching of the facial nerve. Now let us keep it aside so that we can see the continuation of external carotid artery. So this is the external carotid artery. Now finally it continues as terminal branches. Superficial temporal artery. Here you can see the continuation. So this is the superficial temporal artery entering into the temporal fossa. And the last terminal branch, that is the maxillary artery. You can see that the maxillary artery is entering into the infratemporal fossa and continues into three parts later on. To visualize maxillary artery in detail, we are supposed to remove the mandible and try to go for the deeper dissection to see its branches.